So we're going to go through this article in New Statesman because I agree with what the premise says. So the article is how the Conservatives increased the tax take to a near record high. The steady increase in taxation since the 2010 represents an ideological victory for the left. For decades, the Conservatives have been synonymous with tax cuts. Margaret Thatcher reduced the top tax rate for income tax from 83% to 60%, then in 1980, and then in a coup d'etat to 40% in 1989. More recently, George Osborne abolished the 50p tax rate on earnings over £150,000, and since 2010, the Tories have cut corporation tax from 28% to just 19%. And yet, as the Institute for Fiscal Studies has noted, the tax take is at its highest sustained level since the 1940s, at 34.4% per GDP. In recent history, this level has only been exceeded once in 1969 and 70, when the tax take reached 35%. Though individual taxes have been cut, with the personal allowance increased from $6,000 in 2019 to $12,000 in 2010, they have been offset by tax rises elsewhere, such as an increase in VAT from 17.5% to 20%, and a rise in the national insurance contributions. And though the Conservatives scrapped the 50 pence tax rate, they have retained the 45 pence rate on earnings over £150,000. Fearing the political consequences of gifting another tax cut to the top 1%, they have also maintained a stealth tax introduced under the last Labour government, through which the personal allowance is tapered away before £100,000 and income tax relief for pension contributions. The days when the Conservatives flirted with the idea of introducing a flat rate of income tax, with rich and poor paying the same share, have long been forgotten. The quiet rise in the tax take represents an ideological victory for the left. Rather than prioritising tax cuts, the Conservatives are now pledging to increase public spending, investing and funding through higher borrowing. Boris Johnson is now expected to abandon his leadership campaign pledge to raise the 40 pence tax threshold from 50,000 to 80,000, a move that would primarily benefit the top 14% of earners. The Tory policy choices reflect the popular will. In 2018, the British Social Attitudes Survey found that 60% of the public favour higher taxes and spending. And remember, this is apparently what the Tories have been saying. That's not the case at all. with 33% support present levels, and a mere 4% wish to roll back to a further state. The free marketers have long contended that the tax take cannot exceed 35% without significant economic or political damage. Remember, these free marketers, we've talked about them before. Jacob Rees-Mogg is one of them. Priti Patel is one of them. Pretty much all Boris Johnson's cabinet are all free market worshippers. And they've all consisted this idea that we cannot go above 35% for taking tax. This will have unintended disastrous consequences. But the UK's current tax level remains below that of most Western European countries, and it's below the G7 average as well. Faced with an ageing population and the need to restore the public realm after an age of austerity, the likelihood remains that taxes or borrowing or both will continue to rise. So, I completely agree. This is a complete ideological victory for the left. We are constantly being told that you can't borrow more or you can't raise taxes. But look at what the Conservatives have done here. They've plainly done that. They have increased the tax take that they take, and yet they continue to claim that austerity is somehow necessary. It clearly isn't. Once again, it's an ideological victory for the left and a massive loss for the right, and especially the centrists, who continue to claim that somehow austerity is a good thing. But there you go. So, again, thank you for watching. Again, spread this video around. There are, again, a lot of people who seem to share this delusion that somehow raising the tax rate is a bad thing. It's not. It's a good thing, because you can take that money and invest in public services. So, thanks for watching, and remember, if you'd like to help support me, then you can buy me a beer with the link below. So, thank you very much.